Hi, yeah, it's Jackie here from the LGFA, and we're on a call again today looking ahead to some key club activity at the weekend. And let me tell you, there is lots of it coming up. We have big finals in Connacht, Leinster and Munster. And that's why we're here. And we're hoping to be joined on the call shortly by Orlagh Farmer, former Cork star as well. But I am delighted to be joined for now by, on the top left-hand side of my screen, as I look, Kellyann Hogan from Ballymacarbry in Waterford, the current Waterford champions and also the current Munster champions. Oisin McGovern, bottom left, is a journalist with the Mayo News and has been following the fortunes of Knockmore, who pit their wits against Kilkerrin-Clonberne in Connacht in that senior final at the weekend. And Róisín Cockram from Naomh Ciaran in Offaly is also on the call as well. Folks, how are we all doing today? All good?
Too bad.
Yeah.
Good. Róisín, I'll come to you first. Naomh Ciaran, through to a Leinster Senior Final. Not so long ago, you were winning an All-Ireland intermediate title, if my memory serves me correctly. So you guys are up against Kilmacud Crokes on the weekend. Tell us first of all about the trip to the provincial final, Róisín, and how you found that, and now looking ahead to what comes next.
Yeah, so I suppose it's not our first year in senior Leinster, but it was the first year we've won a game. And that was our main aim at the start of the year. We really wanted to prove that we were up at the level of senior. So we came up against Eadstown first, and they were a very tough test. You know, we know they have lots of experience in Leinster as well. They've come out of Kildare the last 3 years, I think. So we had a tough game at home against them, and then we met Longford Slashers, who are also a very experienced team, haven't won the Intermediate All-Ireland last year, and they hadn't lost a game in a while. So we went up to Longford and played them, and that was another tough game. And now we're just looking forward to Saturday to play Kilmacud.
Yeah, it's been a good rise for the club. Róisín, I did mention that All-Ireland intermediate title, which was just 4 years ago, back in 2019, I think it was. And now here you are in a Leinster Senior Club Final. And, you know, Eadstown, no mean opposition. Longford Slashers, very good opposition as well. So to come out of Offaly and get through to a Leinster final, it must give you a great sense of pride.
Yeah, it does. Look, we love representing our club on the Leinster stage. We've been lucky to have a lot of success within Offaly. So we've had lots of opportunities to play in Leinster and play other teams across Leinster, and we've really, really enjoyed that. So we're delighted to finally get to a senior final this year.
Have you seen much of Kilmacud Crokes?
Yeah, we would have played them last year. It was their first game we had outside of Offaly, and you know, they're very powerful, they're strong, they're a physical team, and obviously they won it last year as well, so they'll be looking to retain their title.
Well, look, there would have been some changes in personnel since then in both teams, Róisín, but is that a good gauge for you guys when you know you're coming up against the vast majority of those players again and what to expect?
Yeah, I mean, of course, like, we have been looking at them, and last year was a good experience to get against them, but at the same time, we're trying to focus on ourselves and what we can bring to the game on Saturday. Absolutely,
and you'll bring plenty to it, and we wish you well. Róisín, we'll pass over to Kellyann in Ballymac, the champions up against the banner. Another Munster final against the banner, Kellyann. You know plenty about each other, obviously.
Yeah, we played them last year now in the Munster final and bet them narrowly by 3 points. So it'll be a tough battle again this year, I'd say.
Yeah, another tight one lies in store, I expect. Kind of in particular at this time of the year as well, it becomes a real, you know, a real battle. It's not necessarily about free flowing football. You play it when you can, but in the conditions, you just got to battle through.
Yeah, sure. Even last year, the score was, I think, 8 points to 5 points. It almost just turns into who has the better defence. But yeah, we'll try to keep it tight at the back anyway. We know they have a lot of prominent forwards, so it's important to keep it tight now.
Very good. We wish you well. Orlagh Farmer has just joined the call as well. Orlagh, good to have you on. We're just chatting through the weekend activity as you join us. Good to have you on. Oisin McGovern is here as well from the Mayo News. Oisin, you've seen Knockmore. They were Mayo champions 2 years ago. They're Mayo champions again. They've obviously progressed to a Connacht final now. They're up against Kilkerrin-Clonberne, the reigning All-Ireland champions. It's going to be a big test for Knockmore. But do you think they're capable of troubling Kilkerrin-Clonberne at the weekend?
To be honest, I don't see them doing it, Jackie, to be perfectly honest. But I mean, just looking at Kilkerrin-Clonberne, like, some of the statistics they put up in the last 2 years are frightening. They're obviously All-Ireland champions, but when you consider in their last game that they scored 216 or 126 actually from play. 114 of that without reply against Glencar, Hamilton. You really get a sense of the task that Knockmore are up against. Like Knockmore are very good and a very balanced team, like from Róisín playing the full back right up to the likes of Lara Sweeney and Shauna Howley up in the forwards. They have quality all over the field, but they really have an enormous task against Kilkerrin-Clonberne the next day. The last time they played, it was 3-19-1-5 in favour of Kilkerrin-Clonberne. They also had 9 scores on that day as well too. But just from what I've seen of them over the last 2 years, I watched them once or twice last year as well too, and they are a team. Not only are they so good in play, when they have the ball, they're almost impossible to dispossess. Like Knockmore, don't get me wrong, are a very hard working team. Lots of diligent players that'll work very hard for the ball. The likes of Katie Munley and Emma Lowther, who's come back this year, has made a huge impact for them. But just with the quality that Kilkerrin-Clonberne have, and they have 1 or 2 young girls coming to the likes of Naomh Dibley, who played with the Galway minors this year. I really just can't see them causing an upset. Knockmore do have the firepower to hurt teams, but it has to be a 60-minute performance against Kilkerrin-Clonberne, unfortunately. And I just can't see that happening, unfortunately, from Knockmore's perspective at the weekend.
So what's the plan for Knockmore then? If you do you keep it tight? Do you just go at them? And you know, as you say, Knockmore do have some really, really good players, and they'll be looking to put up a really good performance in this kind of final, Róisín. So what's going to be the game plan from a Knockmore perspective, do you think?
Well, I asked their manager, Cormac Reap, about that, and he was surprisingly open about it, Jackie, and he said something similar 2 years ago, which is basically Knockmore are going to go out and play their own game. They're going to try and approach this exactly the way they would as if they were approaching Westport or Carnacun. They're going to press them high up the field, and they're basically that they're not going to invite them on like you would see some teams doing maybe against the likes of the Dublin men's team over the years, where they've ended up passing it back and forward and just picking their spots and going. So Knockmore, in fairness, they are, being honest, they are going to stick to their guns. But you know, when you're facing a team with the talent, the likes of the Nooms, the likes of Louise Ward, the likes of Nicola Ward, in my opinion, the best halfback in the country, but by a country mile, when you have her coming up, breaking lines and giving you that extra dimension, you really are up against a juggernaut. I mean, for a team that can lose a player of the caliber of Ailish Morrissey to injury and still be putting up massive scores with no team coming within. I think Clare Galway were the team that came closest to them this year. It was like 6 points in the final or something like that. When you're up against essentially half of the Galway county team, it really gives you a sense of the tasks that's ahead of them. But no, Knockmore look like they're going to stick to their guns, and they do have the talent that can hurt a team. But as I said before, you will need a 60-minute performance, and you will need a lot of Kilkerrin-Clonberne players not to show up on the day. As I said, they had 9 scores the last day, so who's to say they won't have 5 or 6 the next day? Like if one girl doesn't have a particularly good performance, you can guarantee that another one is going to show up. Yeah,
it should be interesting. The Mayo Galway aspect might be a bit of a leveler as well. So we've seen in recent years, whenever Mayo and Galway play each other, it's always tight. Orlagh Farmer, just to bring you up to speed, we have Kellyann Hogan with us from Ballymacarbry and Waterford. We have Róisín Cockram from Naomh, Ciaran and Offaly. And Oisin McGovern is with the Mayo News, looking ahead to the Connacht Final at the weekend. So we've Munster, Leinster and Connacht Senior Finals this weekend. Just before we get chatting to you about what lies in store for you, and you've got some travels on the horizon, Orla, just to chat about Mourneabbey and the fact that they're not in a Munster final and didn't progress, and it's Ballymac against the banner as it was last year in the Munster decider. Will that be a source of disappointment to Mourneabbey, given the rich pedigree that they have in the Munster series and indeed in the All-Ireland series as well?
Yeah, and I suppose, you know, they have been absolutely phenomenal over the years. They were unlucky, but I mean, as we all know, like the talent on that team is absolutely frightening. But look, it is a disappointment, all right, for them. But I guess, you know, that's sport as well, and that's, you win some, you lose some. But look, I think that'll drive them on as well. They do have plenty of young players coming up as well, so I think that they will learn a lot from that loss as well, and drive it on. And they seem to have, you know, a good setup over the years as well, so I'm sure that will drive them on going forward as well.
So what's happening in your world, Orlagh? Where are you off to? Tell us all about it. You're getting on a jet plane, I believe, yeah, very soon. Or a couple of jet planes, yeah.
A couple of planes, yeah. Well, so I'm actually heading to Kenya on Friday week with the Plant the Planet Games, the Warriors for Humanity and Self Help Africa, going over with the group of GA players to plant trees in Kenya, and to help out in the schools and help out in community projects over there as well. So I'm really looking forward to that trip and very grateful to have the opportunity to go over. And we'll also play an exhibition GA match, hurling and football game as well over there, and running with the Kenyan Olympic athletes as well. And there's a jam-packed itinerary, but it'll be a very exciting trip and a very impactful one as well. And isn't it great to be able to use sport as the tool, and actually, making a positive impact on the lives of people, particularly over in Kenya as well. So I have that first, and then I actually fly to Uganda then myself. So I'm involved in another project over there. I've linked in with a guy called John Walsh. He's actually a Galway man, but he's living and working over in Uganda, and he's set up this community outreach program for Equator Girls. So they're promoting, I suppose, Gaelic games, Irish dancing, music, sport in 5 schools in Entebbe and in West Uganda as well. So it's very exciting to just see even the kids, like some of them can even hand pass better than what I've seen myself over here. So it's very exciting to see, like, GAA, like particularly in Uganda. And I'm really excited to work with the kids over there, coach the kids, coach the teachers, and kind of come up with a long-term plan to, I suppose, allow more younger players to join the clubs over there in the schools and to promote Gaelic games in Uganda as well. So it's very exciting.
That sounds good. So how long will you be gone for in total?
Just under 3 weeks.
Yeah, so you're back for Christmas anyway, back in plenty of time for Christmas.
Back with a bang for Christmas, yeah.
Good stuff. You said you're going running with some Kenyan athletes. Is that right?
Yeah, so there's brother Colum. He's actually a Cork man. He's a priest over in Kenya. He moved over there years ago, and he ended up just staying over there and got into coaching athletics.
Wow.
And he now coaches some of the Kenyan Olympian athletes as well. So
Heard of him, yeah.
We visit Colum and his training centre up in the mountains, up in the high altitude in Kenya. So I'm sure that'll be an experience, and we'll be kept on our toes anyway, no doubt, when we're over there.
Yeah, I've seen some of the schedules of the long distance runners, from that area of the world, and like they're running marathons every day. It's just it's incredible what they do. So how's your 5K or 10K at the moment? Will you be all right, Will?
Well, yeah, I actually, like, in order to kind of fundraise and raise some funds for the project, I've been kind of tipping away with a solo run marathon. So I've still about like maybe 10 kilometers left of the 42 kilometers to complete before I go. So I get some strange looks now all right around Middleton and around the place when solo running down the road with the football through the town. But look, it's all for a great cause. And like, as I said, isn't it great to be in an opportunity to give back and to make that positive impact?
And can people donate, and if so, where do we find the details?
Yeah, so you can go on to just I donate. So all of the players that are going basically have different portals. So if you just go on to Plant the Planet Games, and you can just type in the name then of the player that's going. So
how many players are going? Or I'm aware of what's happening. All right, yeah.
Yeah, so there's like close to 50 players.
Brilliant.
Will be heading out, and some musicians as well. And like some camera crew and things like that as well. So it was very successful last year in 2022. So this is something, and to be fair to Alan Kearns, he puts in great work, and he's trying to get this, I suppose, looking at a long-term sustainability of it as well, and to see if we can do it kind of on an annual basis every year as well. So yeah, it's exciting, and I look forward to it. I'm trying to learn some Kenyan and some Swahili language now as well. So I've lots to prepare now before my trip next week.
Good stuff. Wish you well, and it's a good news story. And when we live in turbulent times as you look across the world, so this is something something really, really nice. We wish you well,
Yeah,
Orly. Yeah, look,
thank
and
you.
yeah,
And I
and
will
you're
be,
gonna.
I will be tracking, like when I'm in Uganda, particularly, I'll be traveling around to numerous schools, and the Equator Girls club, GA club as well. So I will be actually kind of, I suppose, vlogging or like taking kind of footage of the sessions, and I'm going to be interviewing some of the coaches and teachers and some of the kids and stuff as well. So you know, just to keep an eye out on that as well, maybe on the ladies Gaelic football I suppose social media as well, just to keep an eye out on GA over in Uganda.
Lovely. Send us what you can. We'll make sure it gets widely shared, and we wish you well, Orla, on your travels. We'll come back to you there in a couple of minutes. Róisín, Amy Gavin Mangan, as we said before we started the call. I can see you laughing there already. Look, it's a lovely stat at the moment. You're placing second on the top scorer list in the Leinster Championship. So she says, I'm sure she'd love for you to get that in. So there you go. So have you always been a forward, Róisín? Has that always been your position up through the years, or have you gravitated towards more of a scoring position?
No, I actually when I played college football, I would have been cornerback with NUIG when I was in first year, and I played wing back for some time for the club as well, and eventually just moved my way. I think my first year forward was in 2019 when we actually won the All-Ireland. Mick and Colin Kenny put me in full forward, so that was something new, but it worked out well.
But is it an aspect? Is it a position that you have to work really hard at? Róisín, are you on freeze as well, or is it just general play where you've been getting most of the scores from?
No, I'm not on freeze at the club because Kate Kenny is there to take all the limelight off me. But
a phenomenal player, yeah.
No, it does take hard work. It takes a lot of practice and repetition in terms of shooting and stuff. I think even if you're not a free taker, you should still be practicing shooting at the goals and kicking points as well. But I suppose I kind of like going down to the pitch on my own, so it's a position that suits me, and I'm enjoying it at the moment.
So, Róisín, what are you doing with yourself off the field of play? How's life? What does life look like away from football?
I recently just finished my master's in agricultural sustainability, so I'm just looking to get a job within that sector at the moment.
Okay, so let's put the word out. You're looking for employment, yeah? And we're always happy to do that. We like to do that. So if there's any potential employers, what's the exact space that you're looking to get into, Róisín, ideally?
Anything agriculture really, and I like food product development as well. The sustainability side, if possible, as well. I'm quite keen and interested in.
Okay, was there a thesis involved in the masters?
There was a very, very difficult and stressful one, but it's done now, thank God.
Good. What did you do it on? What was the topic?
I looked at antimicrobial resistance that may be present in Irish salad in supermarkets.
Okay, I'll bow to your greater expertise on that. That sounds like quite a mouthful for me. I'm sure the others on the call. Best wishes, Róisín. I hope it all works out for you. And as I say, if there's anybody out there looking for some serious talent, we've got it here in Róisín Cockram. So happy to spread the word. Kellyann, how's life with you? What are you up to?
Not too bad. I'm studying finance in UCC, so I'm down in Cork at the moment.
Good. What year are you in? How's it going? Have you much left?
I'm in final year now, so it's busy times.
Good. Look, we obviously spoke to Róisín, and Orla herself was fulfilled many positions down through the years, but was primarily a hard-working wing forward. I hope that's okay, Orla, to label you as that. But Kellyann, you're well known to take a score as well. Has forward play always been part of your life, or what did you evolve into that position as well?
I originally actually started out as a wing back and then slowly made it up the lines, but I'm playing midfield now at the club, and I have been the last few years. So yeah, I've been there, and then with Waterford I've kind of been around centre forward, wing forward. Yeah. But yeah, I think I prefer midfield now. Okay,
what is it about midfield play that you like? Is there a bit more freedom to get
I
about
think
the
I
pitch,
definitely
Kellyann?
prefer the freedom. I don't know what is about the forwards, but I almost feel lost up there.
Okay. I mean, the Ballymac team at the moment as well, you've got a lovely blend, I think, of an absolute experience, and players have been there for so many years. you know, a good core group in that midsection, and then some younger players coming through. Kellyann, you must be very excited about what the club and how it's going at the moment.
Oh, definitely. Like, even we were able to replace 3 key players from last year, like Laura Mulcahy, Sinead Kendrick, and Mairead Wall, and people just slid in no bother. Like, the youngest, they're 15, Ruby Brown and Summer Peters, and they're starting on the team since the county final now, and they're just fitting in perfectly. So it's really exciting, yeah, that there's players like that coming up, and we have the mix of experience and younger players. So
yeah, Sinead is a mummy now, isn't she? She's a couple of
yeah. So is Mairead now, yeah.
Yeah.
Sinead,
yeah. To see players who obviously have become mums and have come back to the sport as well. It's incredible, Kellyann, isn't it? The commitment that takes.
Yeah, sure. This is Sinead's second child now, and she had the first one the year before the Munster final, and then came back and had an absolute display in the Munster final last year. So I'd say it'll be a goal of the two of them to come back again.
And have you looked much into Banner ahead of the weekend, Kellyann, or is it a case that you know what they've done in more recent times as well is warning enough, and obviously you played them in the Munster final last year. You know, as I said right at the start of the show, you know plenty about them and what lies in store come the weekend.
Yeah, we've played them most years, so we know what's in store. But the last 2 weeks since our Munster semi, we've kind of been focusing on ourselves. But I'm sure we'll be touching on them in Friday's training session and see what way they're playing at the moment. But yeah, at the moment we're keeping to our own game plan and just looking forward to Sunday now.
Yeah, wish you well. Oisin, just back to you briefly on obviously some news broke over the last couple of days. Liam McHale is the new manager of the Mayo Ladies Senior team for next year. How has that news been received locally? High profile appointment, taken over from Michael Miles there as well. So looks like a good man to come in there with a very undoubtedly talented set of players.
Yeah, Jackie, I suppose the relief is the one big overriding emotion that the whole saga, as I've often described it in my own reporting, is finally over. It really, I suppose, dragged Mayo LGFA into the headlines for the wrong reasons. But no, a big appointment, a guy that hasn't a whole lot of experience initially working with women's teams, but, you know, as you said, a big name, a guy who's managed plenty of teams. And the one thing I would say about him is, just from having listened to people who've worked with him, like he seems to have a really kind of a good temperament and a good way of getting along with players. So I think that's one thing that'll definitely stand to him. And he has, of course, his former teammates Kenneth Mortimer and Dermot Flanagan involved in the backroom setup as well. So look, as you said, Michael Boyles did do a lot of good work there in the 3 years that he's been in charge. I know from talking to Fiona McHale has always had very good things to say about him. They got a bit of a monkey off their back this year by defeating Galway in the Connacht final and got to an All-Ireland semi, where Kerry yet again undid them with a goal at a vital moment. But no, I definitely think that there is a lot of talent there, and I think there's even a couple of girls I've seen in the club championship so far this year that are definitely worth the call up, that you're going to hear a lot more. But no, there's a young Mayo team there with a lot of talent to work with. So look at he's been an unknown quantity, Liam McHale, but he definitely has the talent to work with there in Division 1, the league, which kicks off in January now. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. Hopefully from now on we'll be talking about what's going on the field rather than what's going on off it. That's good.
Okay, we look forward to seeing how Liam McHale gets on in charge of Mayo. Ladies and gents, I really appreciate your time today. So just to let people know what's happening over the coming weekend, as I say, we have finals in Connacht, Leinster and Munster. Róisín, Cockram and Naomh Ciaran up against Kilmacud, Crokes from Dublin in the Leinster Senior Final. Kellyann Hogan from Ballymacarbry and Waterford up against the Banner Ladies in the Munster Senior Final. And as Oisin McGovern from the Mayo News has been describing, it's Knockmore from Mayo against Kilkerrin-Clonberne from Galway in the Connacht Senior Final. So all of that coming up over the weekend. You're out on Saturday, Róisín, and then the Munster and Connacht finals are on Sunday, if the list I have in front of me here is correct, which I'm sure it is. And Orlagh Farmer off on your travels as well soon. Orlagh, as I say, keep in touch while you're away. Have your jabs got you? Have?
I'm all ready to go.
Yeah, you have the jabs. Good, good. Take care of yourself over there, and best wishes to the traveling party as well. And we look forward to
Thank you.
your postings from Kenya and Uganda. So stay in touch on the WhatsApp, or then we'll get the little diary up and going as you progress through your travels. So wish you well. Kellyann and Róisín, all the best for the weekend and with your future careers. And as I said, Róisín is open for business, and Kellyann, you'll be open for business too in the not too distant future. Keep up the good work as well, Oisin and Mayo. And we'll talk to you good folks real soon again. Thanks a lot for coming on today. Really appreciate it, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks,
William.
Jackie.